Hello everyone, my name is Greg Bennett. I'm holding the Avion AV6 limited because of this beautiful spalted maple top. I'm going to take you through the features on this instrument today, and I think we'll just start right up at the headstock and work our way right down to the end pin. The headstock in any line, of course, has a great deal to do with the design element of the instrument, but it also offers a tremendous opportunity to improve string performance and actually add to the tone qualities of the instrument. You'll notice that most of our headstocks are a bit smaller, and that reduced resonance surface leaves more energy on the string. In other words, by reducing that size, that surface, you're not pulling energy off the string, and in the course of doing that, you pick up some attack and you pick up some sustain, and you just get a generally more powerful string response. You'll also notice that the machine heads, or the tuners, are configured so that they converge rather than flare, and the result of that is we get a really nice straight string pull through the nut. And anybody who's ever been tuning and has had to deal with that little click or that little sputter you get when the string binds up, you'll appreciate the fact that these strings will slide through that slot just beautifully. We use a graphite, a white graphite, which is a great material. It gives you a nice tone, nice performance qualities. It also is it feels like it's self-lubricating, so the string really slides through that slot. You'll also notice that the string, or the headstock rather, is cocked back at an angle. And when you do that, when you angle the headstock back, you also increase the string angle over the nut. And that increased angle increases the bearing pressure of the string on the nut. And the result of that is the string energy comes up to that point and can't get past it, or can't get past it as easily. So you pick up, you get improved attack and sustain, and again, more power. And on an instrument like this, that is really an important quality. The headstock is also, because it's smaller, it's a bit lighter, and that's just a comfort thing. Nobody wants to be spending the whole night on stage holding up the neck. You'll notice we use Grover machine heads, and these are just beautiful machine heads, super precise. It makes tuning very accurate and very easily. You can come up onto the right pitch and without having to go back and forth past it. So they're beautiful gears, they're permanently lubricated, and they also just feel great in your hand. That round, soft button just feels great. Now to the neck, we use what's called NATO, which is a wood very much like mahogany, and what's really nice about that is that mahogany is a strong wood, so you have a really sound neck, but it's also a tone wood, so it doesn't enhance a more brittle or bright sound. It has great warmth to it, and again, it stands up to that tremendous string pull. The neck is bound, and what is also very nice about that is that it lets us sort of roll the edge of the fingerboard a bit, and guitars like this, where you have, well, everything from metal to hard rock to blues players, that type of player does a lot of bending, and you'll notice your thumb wraps over. Well, that soft edge just feels great in your hand. It can actually make a set of 10-gauge or even 11-gauge strings feel much softer. You seem to have more control over the guitar. The fingerboard is rosewood, and that's a tremendous wood for this sort of application because it has to be exposed for any future fretwork that you might want to have done, and because rosewood is not only dense, it's sort of oily, so it stands up to those elements. Because it's hard and dense, it doesn't drag energy off the string, sort of a proximity effect that just adds to string efficiency. We have pearl type inlays. This is a single cutaway design, and I really like that because it always gives you a bit more neck support. So your neck isn't hanging out there completely exposed, so that when you hit a string, sometimes it can almost act like a shock absorber. So you get a nice rigid neck setup. The cutaway obviously lets you get up high. If we follow all the way down to the bridge, you'll see that the same thing we were talking about with the angled back headstock is applied here. We have a lot of neck angle, and that means that the string also dives over the saddle, and that the more angle you have there, again, the more bearing pressure you have, the hotter the string, attack and sustain and general power. I always like to mention, too, that this stop piece, this bar, can be a great attribute in just sort of adjusting the quality, not just brightness, but the quality of the sound. As you take that bar down, you increase that angle, and that pushes brightness and efficiency. If you raise that bar up a bit, it softens the sound. So maybe you're a blues player that wants a little mellower, a little more of a brown sound. You just raise that bar, and it's amazing what that will do. You'll also notice with the bridge, we use a real heavy bridge stud, and at the base of that is a flange, which just makes the bridge really stable. So again, when you hit the string, you don't find that the bridge is actually pulling energy off the string. We use Duncan pickups, Duncan design pickups, and most of you, I'm sure, have heard that brand. It's they've spent decades refining pickups, so you get just an extraordinary sort of blend of performance and tone. They sort of wrote the book. This, as you can see, is an arch top instrument, and aside from being just beautiful, what that does, that arch, is it places another almost half-inch of mass under the bridge, which further stiffens the body. And what that means is the body is going to be less likely to drag that energy off the string. So you wind up with just huge performance attributes, amazing presence, and just an amazing sense of power. Plus the maple cap also adds to that. It adds a little bit to the clarity and the articulation of the guitar. The sides, or the back, I should say, is made out of NATO, which is that mahogany type wood, and it has a wonderful warm quality as well. So you get a really nice mix of performance and tone. You have volume and tone controls for both pickups. I always like to mention that I think a lot of players sort of pass on the idea of using both pickups. We tend to gravitate towards that bridge pickup. But when you have both those pickups on and you kind of weight those volume controls back and forth, what happens is you are mechanically changing the tone of the guitar. It's not just with circuitry and the treble or bass control. You are actually mechanically weighing those two pickups together because the point under the string where they sit offers a little bit different tone. Again, the toggle switch gives you control over single, double, or neck pickup. So just a wonderful instrument in terms of performance and power. And this happens to be a core model in the line. There's a whole variety of instruments with different features and a nice variety of price points to fit your budget. So check one out. We just went through all the features and benefits of this instrument. I think it's time that we plug it in and show you what it's capable of.